Hi, this is Sheila Cox, and I want to talk to you about home prices in Texas. So this is a very important topic if you are a home buyer. So the first thing I want to say if you're buying a home is forget about Zestimates. In Texas, in the Houston area, Zillow itself only gives itself 1 star for accuracy. That's right. If you Google how accurate is Zillow's estimate, you can go to the Zillow.com webpage that covers this, and they have a box there where you can scroll down to Houston, and you can see here, they only give themselves 1 star for accuracy here. And that's probably because Texas is one of, I think, 6 non-disclosed states. So there's 6 states in the United States, or maybe that number could vary in the future, but there's states that do not make real estate sales data a matter of public record. Therefore, Zillow's robots and algorithms can't get that data and cannot do accurate estimates in the Houston area. So if you come from another state where the estimates are accurate, it can be confusing for you here. You'll go, why can't I trust that? And see, I'm just proving it to you here that estimates are not accurate in our area. So don't use that. Also, don't use tax appraised data either. Texas has very high property taxes. Therefore, our tax appraised districts try to keep the appraised values kind of low. So you cannot go by appraised value on the tax rolls. That is not accurate either. The only way to get a good, accurate indicator of price is through a professional real estate agent who has access to the real data out of the MLS. So another thing I want to talk about is the fact that a home must appraise for the sales price. If you are getting a home loan to buy the house, the price isn't between you and the seller. The price is between you, the seller, and the lender's appraiser. And this is really hard for some people to understand, but lenders are in the business to make money. They're not going to loan more money on a house than the house is worth. That's what got us in a lot of trouble, with the market crash, 10 years ago. Or whenever. So lenders that are giving you a home loan are going to send a third-party neutral appraiser out to the house and make sure that its value is what you're paying for the house. And you always have to keep that in mind. That's why we don't want to offer too much on a house, or, even if you really, really love the house, and let's say you want to pay $500,000 for a $400,000 house. You can't do that if the lender won't lend the money to you. So, and if the lender thinks the house is only worth $400,000, they're not going to lend you more. So that's something always keep in mind. And it's kind of funny because we always joke about it. The owner sees their house kind of like this, and then you see the house as it is probably. And of course, the lender's appraiser is going to see the house like this. No, I'm just joking. It's a little inside real estate joke. But let's talk about how to price a home. First of all, the market sets the price of the home because it shows what buyers have been willing to pay for comparable homes in the past 6 months. So we generally only like to look at 6 months, and we like to compare apples to apples. We do not compare a 2,000 square foot house on one side of town zoned to different schools to a 6,000 square foot house on the water with a pool zoned to the top schools in the neighborhood. Those are not going to be similar pricing. And by the way, there's not one price per square foot within a neighborhood or within a town. So don't get too hung up on price per square foot numbers either, because they can vary with even within a neighborhood. But to price a home correctly, what we do, a good real estate agent is going to pull comparables. They're going to pull 3 to 5 homes that were sold in the last 6 months. We don't look at list prices of houses that are active on the market right now because, as I like to joke, asking ain't getting, right? So that's a little Texas humor, but just because the list price, so just because a homeowner is asking a certain list price on a house doesn't mean that's what they're actually going to get. So we don't look at actives. We really like to look at sold properties. What are people actually paying for the properties? And we like to look at homes that are within the same neighborhood with the same amenities, or at least within close proximity, that are the same size plus or minus 300 square feet, that have the same amenities such as pools, outdoor kitchens, etc., that are on the same type of lots, waterfront, huge, oversized lots or golf course lots, and the same age and condition or as close as possible. One thing that's very important is I do not use numbers for brand new construction homes to comp a resale home. And this is very difficult for especially the homeowners to understand. But if a homeowner buys a house directly from a builder and they get to choose the lot and the layout and the floor plan and the elevation and all the materials and floors and cabinets and everything in the house, they are buying that new home smell. They are buying or paying for the privilege to have that new home smell or get to pick out all those things. Now, when that same homeowner sells that house, even if it's just a year later, they cannot never offer a new buyer that new home smell because they can never offer a new buyer the ability to pick out all their own materials, their floor plan, their lot location, their amenity, their elevation, etc. So it's kind of like buying a brand new car. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's depreciated. Well, it's kind of the same thing with new construction homes. So we do not compare new construction prices to resale homes, even if the resale home is only like a year old. All right, so let me show you how it's done. So this is just a very basic explanation or example of how we price a home. And in this case, there are 3 comps. I actually like to choose 4 or 5 comps if possible. And remember, we already said what the comps were, but you're never gonna, or very rarely are you gonna find 3 to 5 houses that are exactly the same in every way. There's always going to be slight variations, especially sold in the past 6 months, right? So what we do is we take the sales prices. Remember, we don't take list prices. We take sold prices of the 3 homes and we make adjustments for them for the extra bedrooms and bathrooms and the garage size. 3-car garages are worth more than 2-car garages. Water views, swimming pools, the square footage. There are going to be slight variances in the square footage. So we make adjustments for all those. And then we come up with adjusted prices. We average out those adjusted prices, and then that gives us a sales price for your home or the home that you want to make an offer on. So that is a quick and dirty way of how it's done. Now, there are a couple of other issues that complicate this, and one is you never know what comps the lender's appraiser is going to pull. I mean, we are supposed to pull comps the same way, but I got to tell you, I've seen the most bizarre comps pulled on appraisals that I cannot explain. So real estate agents, and I'm going to pull comps the way you're supposed to. The way lenders, appraisers pull comps sometimes is a mystery. And the other mystery is we do not have any set values for adjustments. There is no printed blue book value for extra bedrooms and bathrooms and pools and all that. So basically, a good real estate agent with a lot of experience will have learned what appraisers adjust for those items. Like in the past 10 years, I study all the appraisals that I get in, and I look for how much a pool is worth or how much an extra bedroom is worth. So that's where experience comes into play and why you want an experienced agent who knows how to comp a house and price a house. So that's kind of how we price a home. One thing that always comes up when you find a house that you want to make an offer on, you're going to ask me, how much should we offer? And I'm going to tell you, it depends on what it's worth. And, some inexperienced agents want to base everything off the list price. Well, it's at $500,000. It's been on the market for 6 months. You could probably get it for $450 or whatever, they're going to do. Well, that's not how you do it. Okay. So what I'm always going to tell you, it depends on what it's worth. And let me illustrate what I mean by this. Let's say there's a house that you want to buy and it's listed at $400,000. Okay, great. Let's say we do a great negotiating job and we get that house for you for $350,000, and you're thinking, hey, all right, I got $50,000 worth of equity in this house. Nope, because if we find out that the CMA value is actually only $300,000, then even though you got that house for $50,000 under list, you still overpaid $50,000 for that house. Okay, I'm going to let that sink in. So you got the house for $50,000 less of list price, and you still overpaid for it. Okay, because nobody did the CMA value. And that happens a lot. That doesn't happen a lot. What happens a lot is listing agents or sellers list their houses for too much money. And so you can never just use the list price as a starting off point. Now, let me show you that kind of a similar situation. Let's say the house you want to buy is listed at $400,000 again, and you get it for $400,000. Just got on the market, the competitive offer situation. You really wanted the house. You paid them what they asked for. You kind of feel them beat up. But we do the CMA value and we find out the house is actually worth $430,000. So, hey, even though you paid list price for that home, you got $30,000 worth of equity. You see what I mean? So you can't go off the list price. You have to know what the home is actually valued at. So when you find a home that you want to purchase, I do a CMA and all the analysis ahead of time before we make the offer to make sure we're making a reasonable offer. Now, that doesn't mean a seller's going to accept a reasonable offer, but we are going to know what the house is worth ahead of time according to that current market conditions, and we're going to price and make offers accordingly.